So, Greg, where'd Jesse go? That's what happens to college students on Sunday mornings sometimes. So here is the point. The first verse of the text that Nancy read. Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb and saw that the stone had been removed. There are three insights in this single verse. While it was still dark, our journey to resurrection, to hope, to joy, to life begins while it is still dark. Maybe today you are feeling it. Poor Jesse isn't. Maybe your sap is rising and your petals are blooming and your juices are flowing and your mojo is working. Maybe today you're kissed by cousins and warmed by sun rays. Well, you don't need a Baptist preacher to tell you that life is good. You feel it. But let's say you're not feeling it. Let's say you are in the dark and surrounded by tombstones, and that there is a boulder blocking you, and you have got a touch of what they call troglodyte trauma. Like you've been dwelling in a damp, dark cave. Then you should listen to this story about Mary Magdalene, a woman who, according to the word on the street, had a reputation. Because this story is about how resurrection starts while it is still dark. Congratulations if you're in the dark, because blessed are those who mourn. They will be comforted while it was still dark. And then another thing I'm thinking about this morning, you see our banners. Thank you for adorning our sanctuary with these banners. Is it you, John? Thank you. But you see the exclamation point. All over Christendom today, the word Alleluia is going to be used a lot. And it is a short form or a different form of the word hallelujah. All these different languages, and everybody's speaking Hebrew today. Hallelujah. The Lord be praised. But it's a funny thing, because I want you to remember, those of you who were here last Sunday, Palm Sunday. And the message of Palm Sunday was this: that there was a parade, and the word that day was Hosanna. But it wasn't a naive celebration. The truth of Palm Sunday was having the courage to celebrate even though you know suffering is just around the corner. The courage of Palm Sunday is to be in the moment of joy even though you know passion and death is in front of you. That was the message of Palm Sunday. Hosanna. But it doesn't sound like naive celebration. It's the same thing with Alleluia. Alleluia is said in spite of. You've got to hear the minor fifth of it. You've got to hear the dark tone of it. It's not just a pep rally. It begins, Alleluia? I mean, look around. Alleluia? Are you crazy? Alex Bowers, Hallelujah. But then you think, but Brandon Bowers. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That's how it's supposed to sound. The journey to Easter begins while it is still dark. The second part, the second insight in this text is this. Early on the morning of the first day, while it was still dark, she came to the tomb. She came to the tomb. She did not run from the thing that hurt. She didn't seek some distraction. She didn't practice denial. She didn't avoid the pain. Mary Magdalene came to the tomb, God bless her, and looked the awful truth in the eye. It's not just all bunnies this morning. Easter begins while it is still dark, and the first thing that has to happen is you have to come to the tomb. You have to face the awful truth with courage. Then the third insight in this text is this. While it was still dark and after she came to the tomb, she saw the stone had been removed. There are sermons about working a little bit harder and overcoming and hanging on and being a hero. This is not one of them. This verse says, if you and I can believe it, that there is finally good news, and it doesn't depend on whether or not you and I brought a crowbar and a crew to spring our buddy from the grave. The God who is love, the God who created this world in love, for love, has planted a seed of life in you and is tending its fragile shoots. And this gardener's going to remove the stones so you can bloom. I had a longer sermon, but we've had so much good music. And now I'm worried about Jesse. The message of Easter is that this resurrection doesn't depend on whether you or me is a hero. Christ has risen and has ascended to the Father and has sent us the Comforter. Now, I know that saying this really loud fixes nothing. I can say these words. I can act real enthusiastic. I can say, oh, Christ is raised from the dead. There's hope. There's life. It doesn't change a thing. But if you have a story like Mary Magdalene's, if you've ever made a journey from feeling dead, from physical or emotional pain, from having your dreams collapse, from having your mission fail, if you've ever come through that and you did feel alive again, then the core of your story is the same as the story of Easter. The particular Christian message on Easter morning is our journey to resurrection begins while it is still dark. And the message of Easter is not that you need to work hard and eat your vegetables and discipline yourself and do everything right. All that's true. But that's for another Sunday. On Easter, we celebrate and give thanks for the uncanny way that while it's still dark and while we are yet sinners, God still fills the world with new life and beauty. And do you walk among tombs? Have you been living in a cave? The very fact that you feel something is missing is a grace. Because God planted a seed of hope in you that expects more and wants more and knows there is more. The message of Easter is that no dark night can separate us finally from some glad morning. And that when Jesus was raised from the dead, we saw the first fruits, the first flowering, the first blade of grass in Paradise's garden. Christ is risen. Alleluia.